Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. From Gujarat to Maharashtra and especially in West Bengal, the auspicious day of Ram Navami was marred by violence and arson. In most cases, it seemed premeditated, as we've seen in year before year. Stone pelting on processions just because they're crossing a Muslim area, often deemed sensitive areas in politically correct language. A lot of this pelting happens from rooftops that seem to have an unabated supply of stones to throw. Bengal's Howrah continues to be on the edge even as I speak after several vehicles were set on fire, shops ransacked, post an attack on a Ram Navami procession in the area yesterday. Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, remember, had earlier virtually justified Muslim no-go areas for Hindus in India by saying that processions should not go to these areas. After violence, she has blamed it completely on one side that apparently changed the authorized routes, as if that justifies everything that is playing out on the ground. In a country that was partitioned on exactly these lines, from which a separate Muslim land was created, can Hindus be barred from any areas? Isn't it exactly this kind of exclusivist politics that has emboldened generation after generation to pelt stones if they don't like something? Isn't it exactly this appeasement politics that creates no-go areas in a secular country on the lines of religion? If population strength alone will determine what can and cannot happen in an area, can you imagine what will happen if Hindus start imposing these choices? After all, the same people who object, for example, to the fact that meat shops should be shut during Navratri say, why go to these Muslim areas? So respect to religious beliefs should flow only from one side, is it? We'll take all of those questions to our guests in just a bit. I just want to briefly describe everything that has transpired over the last 24 hours. So first up, stones were hurled at two separate Ram Navami processions in Vadodara when they were passing through the city's, quote, communally sensitive areas of Fatehpura and Kumbharwara. At least 2 persons have been injured in this stone pelting by a mob. Police detained as many as 24 people for hurling stones, while the police commissioner of the city now says the situation is under control. People were carrying out their normal routine activities. But in some of the visuals that we accessed, it can be clearly seen miscreants hurling stones from terraces of nearby structures on this particular stretch. In West Bengal's Howrah district, stones were pelted at a Ram Navami procession. According to reports, the incident occurred when the procession was passing through Kazipada locality. Several vehicles were then torched, shops ransacked, and violence erupted. In some of the footages from the area, people can be seen pelting stones at a Ram Navami procession from the roof of a building in this city. Meanwhile, there was also a Ram Navami rally in Howrah's Sankarel area later yesterday, in which you can see youths brandishing swords and hockey sticks. Tension on the ground continued in Howrah today too, with crowds seen on the streets agitating. Clearly, reports are also telling us, as do some of the visuals, that some amount of stone pelting has also taken place for a second day. There were a lot of people seen agitating with a large security deployment. And now, of course, a lot of politics has also erupted over what has transpired there for a second day running. Let's not forget, Aurangabad Sambhaji Nagar was also on the edge on Ram Navami. A mob was seen pelting stones and police vehicles were smashed and torched. This after an argument between two groups of men snowballed into a clash. The incident took place in Kiratpura, which has a famous Ram temple. According to police, about 500 to 600 people were involved in the clashes thereafter, but they are yet to be identified. Now, the reason we are highlighting this again is because this is not a new story. This happens year after year, and let me tell you how. For example, this year is what is taking place right in front of our eyes, but just last year on April 10, clashes were reported in multiple states again. Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, West Bengal on Ram Navami. April 13, 2019, the year before that, in Ranchi, Jharkhand, communal clashes after stone pelting at a procession. A year before that, in 2018, Raniganj, West Bengal again, stone pelting at a procession that leads to communal clashes. A year before that, in 2017, communal clashes again in West Bengal after stone pelting at a Ram Navami procession. But it's actually not just Ram Navami. Of course, Hindus celebrate a lot of festivals which involve processions, and a lot of them come under attack. Let me tell you how. Just last year in October in Uttar Pradesh, 12 people were injured. So you can imagine the scale of the violence that broke out in a clash during a Durga idol immersion. Now why? Last year in April 2022, in Delhi too, stones were pelted, vehicles were torched during an Hanuman Jayanti procession. And who can forget, of course, last year in Rajasthan, in Karoli, Hindu Nav Samvatsar celebrations were targeted, stones were pelted. In fact, this was the beginning of series of such violences and processions coming under attack last year in April. In fact, this show, titled Plain Speak, started almost exactly a year ago in April 2022. And one of the first issues we tackled on this new show was exactly this. Why do Hindu processions come under attack? And many will try to tell you this is a recent phenomenon, that this is increased provocation on the ground, that there is something happening since 2014. There is more hatred today. The reality is that violence in the name of music or processions outside or in front of mosques is an age-old story in India since pre-partition time. I repeat what I showed a year ago, an excerpt from Pakistan or the Partition of India by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He had written on this peculiar fight in India, and I quote, "Music may be played before a mosque in all Muslim countries without any objection. Even in Afghanistan, which is not a secularized country, no objection is taken to music before a mosque. But in India, the Muslims must insist upon its stoppage for no other reason except that the Hindus claim a right to it." Unquote. With that, I open this up to the big debates that are coming up. We'll take exactly these questions to our guests. Year after year, processions come under attack. Exactly who is stoking the fire?
তরোয়াল নিয়ে বুলডোজার নিয়ে মিছিল করবার পারমিশন অধিকার তোমায় কে দিয়েছে? রিপ্লাই তোমায় দেব, বিপিটিং রিপ্লাই। ইচ্ছা করে একটা কমিউনিটিকে ধাক্কা দেবার জন্য এবং হামলা করার জন্য।
ममता बनर्जी बतौर बंगाल के मुख्यमंत्री और गृह मंत्री इस हिंसा के लिए सीधे तौर पर जिम्मेदार हैं।
ममता जी इज नाउ वेरी स्केयर्ड।
Let's open this up to the guests joining us. Tohin Sinha from the BJP, JP Majumdar is from the TMC. West Bengal, of course, is one of the states that's witnessing lingering violence. Sriraj Nair is from the VHP. His is an organization that often comes under attack for carrying out very provocative rallies and processions, and because of which allegedly this violence takes place. Maulana Masoodul Hasan Kazmi, Islamic scholar, Pratim Ranjan Bose, columnist, is also joining us. I want to begin with Mr. Bose because you follow Bengal politics closely from Bengal. I want to understand from you, do you find anything surprising in what is, taking place in Howrah, or do you think this is just, something that is erupting because there are multiple other symptoms in Bengal politics?
Unfortunately, Shivani, I think the situation has to go worse. And purely for political reasons. And by political reasons, I don't go by the cliched argument of someone going for Hindu vote, someone going for this and that, and typical BJP or no BJP arguments. No, sorry. What happened yesterday is a clear eye-opener, and it has been happening time and again. In West Bengal in last 10 to 11 years, just go and check how many such incidents happened. Simple thing. One, yesterday, first, Ram Navami was a scheduled event. Second, the chief minister was on dharna, and she is the home police minister. So supposedly everything, it is her responsibility. Third point is that it started yesterday. Just imagine how the stones can go up on the roof. And Forget about what happened yesterday. How could the violence linger today? And
Today, yeah.
in the days of social media, the videos are circulating in every, to everyone, where you can clearly see the police is standing as a spectator. And
No, but
last
Mr.
but
Bose.
not the least,
Okay, complete.
Chief Minister blamed the police, Howrah police. Now in West Bengal, who would believe that the police didn't abide by the bosses? In fact, the reverse is actually true. So it is, and why this is happening? Simple.
Okay.
Simple reason.
Okay, but the Chief
profiles of-
Minister or the TMC believes that this is because of sheer provocation, and that provocation has come at the hands of the BJP. You must have heard Mamata Banerjee's statements. What do you say about that? That this is deliberate.
For argument's sake, let me assume the provocation was from BJP. Fair enough.
Yeah.
In that case, what is the administration for? What were they doing? Why did the violence linger today? Why? Was BJP going and doing the violence then? So it is a failure. It is pure administrative failure. Even if
failure.
you go by our argument.
Okay.
But
yes, absolutely. It doesn't make the state government look good, especially the Chief Minister herself, who's in charge of the police, as our guest mentioned, JP Majumdar. What's even worse is that Mamata Banerjee, before the violence, says, please don't go into Muslim areas. Ramzan is on. Don't do this. It will be provocative. She has virtually justified the idea of a no-go area on the basis of religion and sentiments alone in India, in an independent, secular India. Post-violence, she says, you went into unauthorized areas or unauthorized routes into Muslim areas. What is this culture? Even if I buy her argument that it was an unauthorized route, although people are challenging that narrative, does that mean that people are going to pelt stones? Mr. Majumdar?
Can I talk? Yes. First of all, this is not the new thing that Mamata Banerjee has introduced. You must be knowing, for age-old system of law and order keeping system in Delhi, in other states, the people say where the sensitive areas, avoid that area. That when Muslims, they are taking out rallies, then they are asked not to go to certain areas. In Delhi, several times happened, UP several times, and time immemorial it is happening. So don't question that it is introduced by Mamata Banerjee and she is questioning.
I didn't say that she introduced it. But as a Chief Minister, should she be justifying no-go areas?
Yes, no. As a Chief Minister, to keep the law and order, these are the things. It's a protocol taken by all Chief Ministers throughout last 75 years.
What a statement on India's secularism, isn't it? I don't think it can be anybody's defense that just because it's been happening for 75 years, it is okay or kosher. I just want to know your view. Is it okay in an independent India for India to have these no-go areas? कि आप यहाँ से नहीं जा सकते, आप वहाँ से नहीं जा सकते? सड़क किसकी है? सरकार की है या किसी और की है? बताइए आप. Who owns the streets?
Shivani, if I am allowed to speak.
Yes, Mr. Bose, then Mr. Majumdar can respond. Yes. Yes, Mr. Bose, you can come in very quickly, please.
Yeah, just a quick interjection. More importantly, assuming that these protocols were in place for decades.
Yeah.
But it was done quietly. I have never heard, I have been a journalist for 3 decades, I have never heard my Chief Minister saying that there is a Muslim area, there is a Hindu area.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Should a sitting Chief Minister endorse something like this कि आप मत जाइए क्योंकि इस एरिया में मत जाइए क्योंकि ये चल रहा है या वो चल रहा है, और जब कोई जाता है, people are claiming these rallies had the permission to go through exactly this route, and it's a lie that they changed their routes. But अगर कोई जाता भी है, मैं कहती हूँ unauthorized जाता है, that doesn't mean it justifies this violence. The second mistake that the Chief Minister has done, Mr. Majumdar, is then to justify the violence just because somebody crossed a street.
No, she has not justified. She has said that for last 4 or 5 days I am requesting people to keep the communal harmony from both the sides. And one thing, Mr. Bose, I want to remind you, in your 30 or 40 years of journalistic life, I want to remind you, in West Bengal, Ram Navami, taking arms in hand, never happened before 2017. No such thing. West Bengal is famous for Durga Puja, and it is every community
Sir, there was a time when
participated
Durga
in
Puja
that.
was not
Are
there. There
you
was a
saying
time when
that
Shahrukh
it
Khan's
is
Puja was
happening
not
Ram
there.
Navami
There was a
violence
time when many
only
things were not
after
there.
BJP
Doesn't
is
mean that Ram
coming?
Navami cannot happen.
BJP is empowered in central government, then BJP in West Bengal started the violent process. And I was in BJP, in state office of state BJP. They
Okay.
used to plan beforehand what are the places.
Okay,
where we
one
can
could also
make
argue that this has started
I am-
also
I
after
am-
the
I was
brazen
witness.
emboldening
I was
of the
witness
state
for that.
government. Let's not forget Mamata Banerjee is the same chief minister who even demeaned the Jai Shri Ram slogan. Okay, so let's not divorce that from what's happening on the streets of West Bengal. But on the charge that BJP's ascendancy is what is leading to this on the ground in West Bengal, Tuhin Sinha, please respond. That's also what the chief minister said. I just want to one second just quote, paraphrase, because she said this in Bengali. I have an English translation where she said, "No one has stopped you from holding processions, but who gave you the authority to use swords and bulldozers? What audacity have you gotten? You shall get a befitting reply."
Well, good evening.
If you had been given routes for processions, who asked you to change it? This is what I used to suggest. She virtually justified violence in the name of provocation and changing routes. Yes, Tuhin Sinha.
Well, good evening, Shivani. Shivani, without mincing words, let me tell you that there are only two reasons responsible for this repeated violence during Ram Navami. One is the Hindu-phobic mindset of people like Mamata Banerjee, and the second is the Aurangzeb mindset of people like Owaisi and AIMIM. When I talk of Hindu-phobic mindset, see, Mamata Banerjee is a repeat offender. Let TMC define today what is a Muslim area. These partitions had happened during 1947. Please don't encourage these mini partitions. In none of the BJP states, at one point of time we had more than 15 states. Even today we have more than 10 states. Under us, in none of the states do we say don't go to a Muslim area. I am sitting in Mumbai right now, close to barely 5 or 6 kilometers from where I am. There is a place called Malwani. During the course of last 2 or 3 years, a similar pattern has emerged over there where ghetto is being created by the sitting MLA.
No, one
so
second.
I think, it's about time we grow out of this Hindu phobia. Just one second. Let me also come to the Sambhaji Nagar aspect, because that is the other part.
Yes.
The Aurangzeb mindedness of certain people. I think it is only when AIM and all Muslims support the renaming of Sambhaji Nagar that this violence will die. There should be no place for a person like Aurangzeb. None of the cities, none of the roads in India should be renamed after him. That is when this violence will be kind, because ultimately...
But
his
Tuhin, can you
fanboys, his
deny?
cheerleaders
Mr.
today are doing
Majumdar made a
exactly what he
point.
did 300
No,
years
one
ago.
second. Can you deny that this was an unsaid rule in any case? And many BJP ruled states have followed this unsaid rule. That if there's a Hindu procession, they will not go through this area. If there is a Muslim procession, they will not go through this area. You've also enabled it.
For the sake of argument, let us accept that what he's saying is right. In that case, he's only proving Mamata Banerjee to be an immature CM. Why couldn't she handle it more adroitly instead of time and again? And this has not happened for the first time. During Durga Puja 3 or 4 years ago, she was indicted by the High Court when she said that, don't take out Durga Puja. I think it was the Dashmi procession, and she said that because it is clashing with a Muslim festival, you need to change the date. If you look at the recent riots in Bengal, whether it was Bashirhat, Malda or Asansol, they all had a pattern. Illegal migrants were at the fore of it. So I think her appeasement politics needs to be called out. She needs to behave more adroitly and with greater sagacity. A CM of 10 years should not be so naive as this.
Okay, Sriraj Nayak, very quickly. Why does this keep happening?
I want to intervene for 1 second.
Yes, Mr. Majumdar, I have only 30 seconds, sir. Please, 2 of my guests have not spoken.
I want to ask Mr. Tuhin Sinha that what mindset Narendra Modi had during the Gujarat riot and what type of incompetency he has shown. Just he said that Mamata Banerjee found incompetence. Please refer to Narendra Modi's case about 2,000 Muslims given life during his time. What kind of mindset he has shown? Answer it.
Okay, very quickly, Tuhin.
First of all, you need to get your figures right. There were some 750 Muslims and 250 Hindus. To 25% of the people who were killed during those riots in 2002 were Hindus. But you never managed to get your figures right, basic figures right. And post 2002, there has not been a single, forget riots of that
Are you
nature.
justifying?
The minimum riots are taking place in Gujarat.
Are you justifying, Mr. Sinha?
Okay, I'm not going to discuss Gujarat.
Why will I
No, one
justify?
second. One second.
Are you justifying?
Why will I
both of
justify
you.
20%?
One second, both of you. I'm sorry, I'm not going to discuss Gujarat 2002.
You are justifying Hindus.
Why will I
killing
justify?
and
One
That's the
second,
question of
one second,
justifying
Mr.
it.
Majumdar, please don't speak over each other. Can we lower their mics? I am not going to fall for this. I am not discussing Gujarat 2002. I am discussing West Bengal plus Maharashtra plus Gujarat of 2023, where some incidents have taken place. There are some reports of similar clashes in Bihar too. Let me go across to Sriraj Nair. Why does this keep happening? What coexistence can we have, Sriraj Nair, if we cannot go take processions in one area, somebody cannot take processions in another area, then are we just fooling ourselves? This is not coexistence.
First of all, Shivani, I am happy that you quoted Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and you know what he said. You played what he said. Now, Ram Navami Shobha Yatras are not new for this country or wherever Hindus live. Ram Navami Shobha Yatras are even taken out in Caribbean islands where Hindus have been there for nearly 7 to 8 generations. And for centuries together, Ram Navami Shobha Yatras have been taking place. I belong to a state called Kerala. In my village, there is a temple, Ram temple, which is existing for more than 1,000 years, and we have a Ramotsav for centuries there. Now, this particular incident in Bengal and in where I am also sitting in Mumbai right now. In Bengal, this is all happening because of the 27% votes, and this only because of appeasement politics. Now, a Shobha Yatra is taking place. Today, I was listening to the nephew of Mamata Banerjee ji. And who was saying that the Yatra was not having permission. Then what was their intelligence agencies doing? And Yatra is not, Ram Navami Yatra is not happening for the first time in Bengal. Now these people, because of appeasement politics, they planned somebody carrying gun or sword. It's a huge Shobha Yatra. It's their own people. They try to defame Hindus. And stone pelting is happening in the Muslim areas.
Nobody, one second. I have highlighted how there are stones and an endless supply of stones on some rooftops. And those visuals are all caught on camera. But what is also caught on camera is the fact that some of the people carrying... One second. Some of the people doing these yatras have loaded guns. This happened last year also.
So this has to be checked who these people were. Are they
you are
planted
suddenly
by the
very innocently
TMC
claiming
or the appeasers? That you have to check.
The people who are carrying out these yatras, some of these yatras that are being accused of provocations, I don't believe that songs can be provocations alone, be that as it may for the police to handle. But certainly carrying weapons is a provocation.
See, carrying that you have to see. Let the investigation agencies check.
No, those visuals are also there, na, Mr. Nair?
Now I am coming to Mumbai. I was there in the Shivani ji. That is the investigation agencies that definitely was checked. There was no provocation from the Hindu side. It was in an organized way. Stones were hurled, and with the support of the TMC government. They are into appeasement politics. It's only vote bank politics, and this is happening.
So what happened in Mumbai? Mumbai to has a BJP plus Shiv Sena Sarkar, Shinde Fadnavis Sarkar.
Yes, Shivani ji, let me come to Mumbai. I reside in Mumbai right now. Yesterday in Malwani Shobha Yatra, I was present throughout. Stones were hurled from illegal mosque. Chappals were thrown from the mosque. And this also happened because the MLA of that particular area is a Muslim and who has ensured that, this ghettoism happens. He has brought in so many illegal people from Bangladesh and other places. This is all happening in an organized way. Hindus don't do all this illegal acts. And Shobha Yatras have been happening in this country for centuries. Please do understand. This is off late only because of appeasement politics.
Okay.
This kind of
Maulana
incidents are
Masood
taking
Kazmi,
place.
the fundamental issue is societal as well. These clashes do keep happening. There is a problem on our hands. And there has to be a certain level of intervention at a community level where people just don't keep fighting. There is arson happening. They don't keep pelting stones of, clashing with each other. Because this is then not coexistence. We cannot coexist like this every year.
Shivani ji, the fact is that there is the poor quality of audio quality poor is there.
Okay.
I am not able to listen you correctly, but whatever I am saying, I am understanding from you is that we should not do it Hindu-Muslim here. We all Hindu, Muslim political parties should think for the betterment of our country. Our concern should be the peace and prosperity of this country. So point is, we love Ram Navami, we love Shri Ram, we love Shobha Yatra. But the point is, when we take out the Shobha Yatra without permission, unauthorized route, we have to respect the administration. Administration of electorally, popularly elected government. All the High Court have said we have to respect the administration as by advice. When administration said that these routes are unauthorized, we cannot go through this route from this. So taking
that may be so, but then the police will take action. Once again, no, I'm sorry. That's not a justification for violence. Even if I said so earlier in the show, sir, even if there is an unauthorized route, I am sorry, this kind of mindset that if you cross our route without police permission, then we will pelt stones on you is not right. I am sorry, call the police, complain against them, these unauthorized rallies, but violence or taking law into your hands is not justified.
Shivani, I condemn stone pelting. One in the same breath, I would also like Shri Ram, Maryada Parshottam. Shri Ram is the symbol of kindness, softness, politeness.
So
why there is a need of taking arm? Why there is a need of taking pistol? Why there is a need of taking bulldozer in the earth? And this is unprecedented.
I don't support any of that, Maulana Kazmi, but that is not a justification for violence. I am sorry. It cannot be justified in the name of provocations. Mr. Bose, 30 seconds, please. Final comments.
Yeah. Simple things, Shivani. I mean, let's go by the administration's argument that the procession went in unauthorized route.
Yes.
That's a sham. You know the kind of bandobast there remains during such things. If it was just 4 people, they sneaked, somehow entered into that area, they would have been killed there on. So that's a different issue. So the procession was going. If there were people carrying arms or whatever provocation, let's assume. It was the job of the police to stop them. How many people were there?
It is not this is not the job of the public to start pelting stones. If you take law into your own hands, you're equally guilty. And secondly, the police is clearly liable here. How did so many people manage to cross a court unauthorized route? I'll leave it at that. I'm out of time, but we will discuss this issue further as well because violence is continuing in Bengal. Moving on, the Neetam Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center opens today in Mumbai's Bandra Kurla complex. It is India's first of its kind multidisciplinary cultural space and is home to a majestic 2,000-seat grand theatre. As per reports, Hollywood stars Zendaya and Tom Holland have arrived for the inauguration of the glittery new cultural center. Reliance Foundation founder and chairperson Neeta Ambani said that the cultural center is an ode to the nation and aims to preserve and promote Indian arts. Let me also go across to my colleague Shilpa Ratnam, who is joining us on the phone. Shilpa, tell us more of what's happening.
Hi, I'm on the red carpet of the NMAC and the celebrities have just started coming in. That's a Neeta Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center in BKC. Today is the inaugural day and it's going to be kickstarted with a musical by the famed theatre director Firoz Abbas Khan, and it's going to be something of a scale that's never been seen before. It's going to have a 55-piece set that's coming in from Budapest. We have Manish Malhotra doing the costumes. Ajay Atul have done the music, and we're expecting not just the who's who of India, but especially the global elite when it comes to the fashion and when it comes to Hollywood. They're expected here. We have names from design houses. We have the heads of design houses, but also very exciting models such as Gigi Hadid. We have Kali Kloss. We have the heads of the major houses such as Canali, We have the editor of Vogue here. We have the head of Haute Couture, Dolce & Gabbana. And so just everybody from the global elite who's connected with fashion is going to be here to inaugurate this cultural center, which is a multicultural center, the first of its kind. And the important point to note here is it's highly exclusive. While it is a luxurious center, it is going to be free of cost to students. It's going to be free of cost to those who are senior citizens, to those who are disabled. So the attempt is to make art extremely inclusive and also to showcase the sort of diversity that exists in the forms of art in the country. So there's going to be a theatrical musical that's going to be happening to it. Showcase the Grand Theatre here, which has seating of 2,000. There's a cube seating of 125. There's also going to be an exhibit of the sort of fashion we've seen in India through the years, and even design houses such as Canali and Dior have partnered with it. So it's going to be a confluence of cultures, especially highlighting the sort of contribution India has made to art.
All right, Shilpa, we'll keep coming to you as more of these visuals keep coming in. A lot of celebrities from the world of entertainment, sports and more joining in. On that note, on the other side, we'll also get you an exclusive conversation with the Union Minister for Sports and Information and Broadcasting, Anurag Thakur, exclusively from the News 18 Rising India Summit. Stay tuned.